Lots of questions for Robert Griffin III this week, and Lisa Salters. They have been about more than just his spotty play.
Yeah, Mike, lots of questions about his play and his leadership. After last week's loss to the Eagles, Griffin made post-game comments that seemed to deflect blame away from himself, and that did not sit well with wide receiver Santana Moss, who was quoted on Tuesday saying, as a leader, regardless of the outcome, good or bad, you have to stand up and say me or I. If I'm the guy with the ball in my hand and the game is over because of me, I didn't do enough to help us win. That's what I would do, Moss said. Griffin told us that he tries to shut out the outside noise, but as for what his teammate Santana Moss said, he said he spoke to Moss directly the day after and they handled it. But no doubt, Griffin is definitely under the microscope inside and outside of the locker room. 16-year veteran London Fletcher told us for the first time he's facing criticism and he's realizing how to handle it. He's taking hits this year and he's learning that he just can't say stuff. Mike?
Oh, we'll find out what the playing says here tonight. First, Lisa, Mike Shanahan's team won the toss and will receive. As Jim Harbaugh and the 49ers, they arrived here on Saturday night. Had a practice here in the area on Sunday and ready to go for this Monday nighter. The weather, as you know, has turned cold around the country, especially the Midwest and the Northeast, with Phil Dawson and the 49ers face a 35-degree night. Feels like it's in the upper 20s. Off we go from just outside of D.C. with a return by Niles Hall, who slips and falls on the newly sodded turf at the 21-yard line. So Lisa gave you a little bit of the background on Robert Griffin III, the number 2 pick in the 2012 draft, the offensive rookie of the year last year. And the stats look pretty good, but the turnovers have been a little bit higher. And as John showed you in Monday Night Countdown, some key mistakes late in games. The difference in Washington is not a 5-6 team, but they're 3-7 as we get started here tonight. Opening drive starting from the 21-yard line. And Griffin's first toss is dropped by the man who will see the ball the most, Pierre Garçon, in this Washington offense.
Well, you're going to see a lot of zone running schemes tonight, Mike, and they'll hand it. They'll toss it, they'll run it from the shotgun, and they'll run it from underneath the center. And these play-action passes look just like the zone running scheme. You're going to see a lot of option football. And when you combine Robert Griffin's speed with this zone running scheme, it's exciting. But they are missing some key weapons. Tight end Jordan Reed, wide receiver Leonard Hankerson, and fullback Darrell Young all out tonight.
Hankerson done for the year. The other two should be back. Griffin is flush, gets away from Ahmad Brooks, and takes off and gets about 4 yards to make it third and manageable. 3rd and 6 coming up.
Nice effort by Robert Griffin. It's the second reaction plays that concern the 49ers the most. But when you have linebackers like Navarro Bowman, who can run sideline to sideline, it sure makes you sleep easier if you're a San Francisco 49er fan.
It'll be a huge part of the game when the Redskins have the ball here tonight. Will the perimeter be shut off by the speed of Bowman and Willis? Extra defensive backs in now, 5 of them for San Francisco. On a 3rd and 6, that pass incomplete, not even close, as Dante Whitner was over there covering intended receiver Logan Paulson.
Dante Whitner is not only the leader of this secondary, he's the leader of this 49er football team. Mike Shanahan, they love bunch formations. That time Whitner read the stack perfectly, made a nice break and drive for a 3-and-out.
LaMichael James back deep to receive. The punt of Sav Rocco, who along with the rest of Washington's special teams have had a bad year. Their catch signaled for, made by James, 45 yards. And Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers will take over at the 31-yard line. It was 53 weeks ago, John, and we were out there on Monday night in Chicago. Kaepernick took over for the then injured Alex Smith and just took off, taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl and this close to beating the other Harbaugh, John Harbaugh and the Ravens. It's been a good season in some respects for Kaepernick. Think of that opening game against Green Bay, out of this world stuff. But lately, his offense just cannot get going, especially the last 2 games against Carolina and New Orleans, under 200 total yards. Will it get better here against Washington's poor defense? The 31, a run by Frank Gore, gains only a yard. Perry Riley Jr. there in the middle, Coach.
One of their problems, Mike, is they've been one-dimensional. They have only thrown for 160 yards of net the last 2 weeks. That's unheard of in San Francisco. Look for a lot of jumbo formations. You'll see tackles playing tight end. You'll even see a tackle playing wide receiver tonight. And at the end of the day, they have to pass protect better. They have underachieved as a pass protection unit this year.
See the 68th, the left guard, Adam Snyder. He's in for Mike Upati, missing his first start of his career off of the injury last week. 2nd and 8. That slant is caught by Mario Manningham. Getting him back, part of the San Francisco story on offense. First down picked up at the 43.
That's a vintage San Francisco 49er pattern. 3-step slant, outside foot is back, and the ball's thrown a foot in front of the numbers. First down, San Francisco. Manningham getting healthy, and a man they need desperately back in this 49er offense.
Had a serious knee injury at Seattle the end of last year. Reactivated off the physically unable to perform list 3 weeks ago. Sneaking through the traffic is Frank Gore, such a powered, dependable runner. Gain of 5 yards.
Just watch how his feet never stop, Mike. He's going to hide behind his blockers. You're going to see a pulling guard. Fullback Bruce Miller pulling. Looks like a no-gain stuff play, but he's got tremendous vision and foot quickness. Sudden, decisive finisher for 9 years. The all-time leading rusher, Frank Gore.
Number 1 on the Niners all-time list. After the gain of 5, Kaepernick moves the pocket to his left, and he slips and falls and goes down. So let's talk about this turf here. You remember the playoff game against Seattle and the end of the season last year. This field was atrocious, and in some ways, some folks think contributed to the injuries that we saw with Colin Kaepernick, with Robert Griffin III, I should say, among others. It's been resodded, first game on that sod, and so far we've seen 2 players slip and fall. 3rd and 9 now for Kaepernick.
Dime defense, a lot more speed on the field to go after the scrambling Kaepernick.
Those 6 defensive backs cover. Kaepernick from the pocket sails it high. And incomplete. Vernon Davis, the tight end, who is his dependable man, the intended receiver, D'Angelo Hall, there on coverage.
You can see what Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, has in mind. You're going to see a fallout here. Brandon Merriweather, number 31, spying on Colin Kaepernick. That's what we talked about in the pregame. Get some speed on the field on your defense on 3rd down in case Kaepernick scrambles. That time it was Merriweather tracking Kaepernick.
One of the best punters in the league, Andy Lee, booting it away. That is Santana Moss, the veteran, back to try to give Washington's punt return some stability. That's a touchback. That's rare for Lee. One of the best net punters in NFL history. At time, kicked it out of the end zone. East of Washington, D.C., here in Landover, Maryland. And our aerial coverage on this Monday night is brought to you by DirecTV. 3-and-out Washington opening drive. They take over at their own 20 in this scoreless game. The dependable back, Alfred Morris, in his 2nd year, gains 2 yards. This is a San Francisco defense. You see Ahmad Brooks make another play. John, they are very, very good.
Well, they really rely on their front 7 to stop the run, and you just saw Brooks, and there's Justin Smith. They have a lot of new members in the secondary. Rookie Eric Reed will play free safety. Eric Wright, a veteran corner, will play for the injured Terrell Brown tonight. And Aldon Smith, what is his status? He had 19.5 sacks last year for the Niners. He's not even in their base defense this year.
Of course, he missed 5 games, checking into a treatment facility. His substance abuse issue. Griffin trying to turn the corner, hit hard by Dante Whitner. That's been said a lot. Whitner and Griffin jaw at the 26-yard line.
Watch Dante Whitner track Robert Griffin. I mean, this is unbelievable. He blurs the screen. This is a zone read off your right side. Griffin chooses to keep it, and Dante Whitner says, go ahead, do it again. If anybody should be able to defend a zone read, it ought to be the 49ers, Mike. They see Kaepernick all summer and spring.
Whitner,
great player.
Yeah, Whitner, who has gone to where he's from in Ohio, gone to court, trying to take the W legally off his name and become Hittner. won't be able to do it till after the season. A run with Roy Halou on 3rd down, and he is stopped. So in 3rd and manageable, 3rd and about 3.5, they go to run it. And Halou is stopped short of the first down. Dan Skuta in on the tackle.
Well, this is Glenn Dorsey. He's the ex-Kansas City Chief. He's playing the nose tackle in the 3-4 defense. Justin Smith with help from Skuta. They're stout at the point of attack. And don't forget tonight, Mike, the Redskins are the lightest offensive line in pro football. I expect the 49ers to try to take advantage of that.
Second punch from Rocca, 10. 49ers tight on the line, so those gunners come inside to protect. And a very returnable kick for James. Fields it on the bounce at the 26. Being chased down, got away from the would-be tackle, but a flag comes in as Logan Paulson is able to get a hand on James long enough to let the rest of the Redskins coverage teams get there. First time we'll hear from John Parry tonight.
During the return, holding, return team, number 57, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Michael Wilhoit, linebacker for Jim Harbaugh's 49ers team. They picked up 1 first down their first drive, and their second drive is coming up. This last met 2 years ago. It was the San Francisco 19-11 win. It was when Frank Gore ran for 100 yards for the 5th straight time. Figures to be a lower scoring game again here tonight. The 21, Kaepernick the throw, sideline complete, and Manningham's out of bounds. 2 catches for Mario Manningham, the former Giant.
Timing route, outside breaking pattern. First down, I expect the Redskins to load the box and give the 49ers some single coverage opportunities. That time right out of the play fake, Kaepernick makes a good on-time, accurate delivery to Manningham, his second grab of the night.
Only had 4 coming in those first couple of games since he's returned from that serious knee injury. About a 1-receiver set you'll see from San Francisco, and Gore with the carry to the right for a couple of yards. Let's talk about what Washington's going to do on this defensive side tonight.
I just think it's important that the Redskins improve their tackling tonight. They're 30th in the league in yards per play. A lot of it has to do with missed tackles. And they must get speed on the field in passing situations to track Colin Kaepernick. You've already seen that once tonight. And D'Angelo Hall's having a great year. He will play star coverage. That means he'll go after the star of the 49ers, Vernon Davis, in some key passing situations.
Other ones like this, he'll get Bolden. This is for Manningham, but was well covered, and Kaepernick just got rid of it, and incomplete. So we'll have 3rd down. John, this is a 49er offense that is missing one of those big pieces in Michael Crabtree, a very important player for Kaepernick, and that's why we've seen him struggle a little bit offensively as this year has gotten started.
Right away, you see him trying to get into a no-huddle offense. They're trying everything to get a big play in this pass offense, Mike.
Jumped into this on both 3rd downs they've had tonight. Redskins bring 5. Kaepernick pumps it. Hemmed in, and will go down. Jarvis Jenkins, the 3rd-year man out of Clemson, with his first full sack of the season.
Good coverage down the field, and good lane integrity by the defensive line of the Washington Redskins. Watch Kaepernick drop back to pass. The stunt up front by the Redskins contains Colin Kaepernick, and he does not like to be hemmed in. He's proven that in the last couple weeks. So far, both defenses are taking advantage of these young, struggling quarterbacks.
Once again, Andy Lee kicks to Santana Moss. Good kick, 57 yards. Moss secures at the 10. A good head of steam, and they got taken down quickly at the 21-yard line. Varro Bowman with some words after the hit. Halfway through the quarter, no score. As someone once said, can't wait. Next Monday night, we will be in the great Northwest. Save the best for last on Thanksgiving weekend. 9-2 New Orleans, 10-1 Seattle. So much on the line. So many storylines developing just in the last few hours on that game. Monday Night Countdown, 6:30 Eastern Time. And we'll all be out there 8:25 next Monday night. Griffin first down. And his arm hit as he throws. And Ahmad Brooks has made a big impact in this game, all 3 drives. Pass was ruled incomplete. Officials are having a conversation about where it ended up and any intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, number 11 was in the vicinity.
Well, Tyler Columbus, Mike, is going to have his hands full with Ahmad Brooks. And that's going to be a big story tonight. That's the second time he's rejected a Redskin play.
Yeah, I thought Brooks hit his arm. No talk of intentional grounding in that case. 2nd and 10 out of the pistol. Here goes Morris to the right. And he stopped nothing there. So Brooks, of course, so much news last week because of the play against Drew Brees. But boy, he's on every play here tonight.
Well, I don't know what the Redskins have in mind, but they might want to run the other way because Ahmad Brooks is taking it to the Redskins right now. I had the right grinder tonight, didn't I,
yeah,
Mike?
You sure did. Guy who played at the University of Virginia from Fairfax, Virginia. He one of 3 49ers, a little homecoming mode here tonight.
And Aldon Smith is back at the top of the screen to rush the passer.
3rd and 10, and Griffin steps up, launching downfield for the breaking Aldrick Robinson. Incomplete. That was a make it up as you went along, and Robinson broke the route, broke deep, but the safety Dante Whitner staying with him. And it's 3 and outs for Washington to start.
There's really nowhere for Robert Griffin to go with the football. He steps up in the pocket. He looks down the field, and Dante Whitner plasters to his man. That's a key term you hear in defensive backfield meeting rooms around the league. Sometimes you got to hold your coverage 8 or 9 seconds, Mike, and that'll be a winning edge tonight for both of these defenses.
Good punt by Rocco, sending James to the sideline. Well, Michael got as much as he could get, taken out of bounds, shy of the 40-yard line. 9 plays, Washington, 3 and outs. RG3 for a second thought he had a chance with a speedster Robinson. John, this is a new one. I know it's cold, and Frank Gore is from the University of Miami, but this is right up until the last possible second during the commercial. Keeping the cape on the field? I've never seen that before.
Me neither. When you're the all-time leading rusher, you can wear whatever you want.
That's true. We might have to start doing that for you in the booth.
I could use it.
All right, let's see some offense here. Somebody in the 38. Here goes Gore, keeping warm. Chased down by London Fletcher. Still going. Well, John, let's talk about San Francisco. The pieces that were here last year, a lot of them are gone. Crabtree injured and still out. Manningham just back. Randy Moss is over at Fox. Delaney Walker's a Titan. So who's here? Vernon Davis still with Manningham. Bolden acquired for the 6th-round pick from the team they played in the Super Bowl, Baltimore. John Baldwin and Bruce Miller. Wasn't he a defensive end a few years ago?
Yeah.
That was
Central Florida.
receptions.
He's 3rd on the team. You're right, in receptions. Hard to believe an ex-defensive end can do that.
Shy of the 40. Kaepernick. Shot down the middle is broken up. Nice coverage coming across from Josh Wilson. The corner broke up the pass for Manningham.
You know what? I get tired, though, hearing about how the 49ers are lacking weapons and we got too many guys out. I know Crabtree's a great player, and he'll be back soon, but I look out in that huddle. There's Vernon Davis, one of the most feared tight ends in football. Anquan Bolden can play for anybody. Frank Gore is a great player. Mario Manningham has played in Super Bowls. And you tell me you like Kaepernick. So I want to see some more production from the 49ers on offense throwing the football.
Third and 8, late play clock. Off just in time. Quick throw, caught over the middle. That slant with Manningham, and you can see Kaepernick favoring that receiver who has been missing throughout most of this season.
Defensive coordinator Jim Haslett comes with a blitz. He overloads the field with the blitz. It's going to come off your left side, and Colin Kaepernick gets the ball off in time. Another slant pattern to Mario Manningham, his go-to guy tonight.
First 3rd down conversion of the night. Here's Kendall Hunter in at running back and working to the left. Terry Riley Jr. plays alongside Fletcher in the middle of that Washington defense. For the stop, Hunter, 3rd year out of Oklahoma State. He has complained about the lack of playing time as this season has gone on, wanting to see more time and more of the ball.
Well, I've heard Anthony Dixon complain. I've heard LaMichael James wants the ball a little bit. They had Brandon Jacobs here last year he wanted to play. They even drafted Marcus Lattimore from South Carolina. They don't have enough footballs to hand off here in San Francisco.
Kaepernick fumbled the snap, but got it back. Directing Vernon Davis to go deep, but he just takes off and gains a few yards to make it 3rd and 4. Kaepernick, that great running ability that he showed last year on the playoff run.
Oh, when you're in the pistol a lot, you're not taking snaps directly from the center. And that battery, the center quarterback exchange, can become a problem. Here on a critical 3rd down and 4, expect some man-to-man coverage, and D'Angelo Hall will be looking for Anquan Boldin.
John Baldwin comes in to make it 3 receivers. Along with Davis, the tight end. Kaepernick going towards Boldin, who goes up and makes the catch at the 20-yard line. First down for San Francisco, and a gain of about 24.
I didn't see D'Angelo Hall on the field that snap, and Colin Kaepernick saw it. Josh Wilson against Anquan Boldin on 3rd down and 4 should know the ball is coming to you. What an excellent throw by Kaepernick, and Anquan Boldin can go up and get it. Very strong hands. You'd love to see a receiver pluck it at his highest point.
There's trip into the red zone for either team tonight. From the 19, a first down pass by Kaepernick. Towards the end zone, it's Boldin, brings it down. Touchdown, San Francisco.
That's an impressive throw. You can see the excitement in Kaepernick's eyes. A double move in the red zone. Anquan Boldin has always been a threat to run to the post. This time, little post move, and he breaks back to the outside and does a fine job walking the chalk. Touchdown, San Francisco. Don't tell me the 49ers don't have plenty of weapons that do some real damage.
He went after Josh Wilson a few times, and that is one of the best go-get-it-in-the-air receivers we've seen in the last 7 years. Those strong hands of Anquan Boldin, who had a tremendous game week 1 against Green Bay. He's been limited since. Andy Lee holds it. Bill Dawson kicks it. And the first touchdown of the night for Washington. It's the 4th on the season for Anquan Boldin. 6th round pick traded to get him from Baltimore. Niners on top, 7-0. Today, not too far from here, Arlington National Cemetery. John F. Kennedy was buried. Of course, the conversation throughout this week about the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Kennedy. A great football connection go back to his youth, including prep school in Connecticut at Choate, played on the JV team at Harvard, and so many photos of Kennedy, a very active president, there with his brother Robert Kennedy, his son Bobby, McLean, Virginia, and in many of the stories I've been told, including a terrific documentary about JFK, his love of Navy football, and there at the Army-Navy game, and those memories which for so many were educational for people who were not alive 50 years ago, a reminder of how the nation and the world changed that weekend in Dallas, and not too far from here, that eternal flame continues to burn and visited so often by so many at Arlington National Cemetery. 7-0 49ers. The Dawson kickoff's a low bouncer. It is picked up by Niles Paul, and he'll return it to the 27-yard line, and that's where Washington takes over.
Well, so far, Mike, Ahmad Brooks has done a lot of damage, flushing Robert Griffin, and then beating Niles Paul badly. And then he beat Tyler Columbus, hit Robert Griffin. And he beat another tight end, Logan Paulson. I think the Redskins might want to try running the other way. The problem is Aldon Smith is back. He had 19.5 sacks last year. That's why you hate playing the 49ers if you're on offense against them.
Brooks' first couple of years in Cincinnati, 6th year here with the 49ers. Redskins offense looking to get a first down to get started. They go the other way and they get nothing as Navarro Bowman makes the tackle, maybe even a loss of a yard. Well, this is why Brooks was being talked about. This hit on Drew Brees, key portion of the fourth quarter last week in New Orleans. Dean Blandino, the vice president of officiating for the NFL, said Tony Corrente's call was correct. You can't make forcible contact to the head or neck area, even if it starts below the neck and rises up. Jim Harbaugh telling us the other day on Sunday, hey, he hit him in the clavicle. They'll still think that that wasn't a penalty. It was confirmed a correct call. Brooks was fined. His team lost. Washington cannot get anything going. Garcon sniffed out. This linebacking core is so active and so good, John. They're everywhere in this first quarter.
Well, you throw a quick screen. That's a second one already. And the 49ers are in perfect position to stop it. I really don't want to see Logan Paulson blocking Ahmad Brooks anymore tonight, Mike. And this is where the 49ers are particularly dangerous. Long yardage, third down situations. They have some fronts and some stunts that create problems with this front four.
Limited looks at intermediate passes in Washington thus far tonight. Griffin in trouble. Justin Smith's asking for a holding call. He didn't get it. Run around Griffin towards the line. Taken out of bounds. Looks like he's just shy of the first down. Ahmad Brooks chasing him to the sideline again.
Once again, it's a stunt by the 49ers. They're trying every which way they can to keep Griffin in the pocket. Justin Smith initiates this stunt, but a 34-year-old defensive lineman looking for the holding call flushes Griffin, who just gets the first down.
And it is a first down. Yeah, the marker on that far side was not where the chains are. I believe. Let's see. No, it is where the chains are. It was ruled a first down. That first initial mark didn't look like they had it. The 49ers sideline was not happy with the spot as Roy Halou Jr. carries. And there's the first good-looking play that was run as it was designed and called in the huddle.
That's an excellent job by Halou. You're not going to get the ball outside, but you have to present the illusion you're getting it outside and cut it back. That's a nice job by Roy Halou. Stretch it, cut it back, and be physical as you finish the run. Roy Halou is an outstanding receiver and a good north-south back. I saw him score 3 touchdowns against Chicago.
3 of his 4 on the year. Winding down, closing seconds, opening quarter. Play action. Alvin Smith waiting for it. Intercepted. Horrible throw. And Dante Whitner comes up with the 11th interception thrown by Griffin this year.
Hard to throw a bootleg against a 3-4 defense when you have Aldon Smith beating down on you to your left, Mike.
Redskins unhappy. They wanted pass interference called downfield. It's a pick. And it's 7-0 San Francisco after 1. Redskins turn, joining the rest of the NFL honoring members of the military. The team hosting 4 Navajo code talkers. Their unique code used for secret battlefield communications was very pivotal in the U.S. success during World War II. And their acknowledgement here very significant and noteworthy in light of the continued story regarding the Redskins team nickname. Owner Dan Snyder's stated desire to keep the nickname despite protests from some Native American groups across the country. A great welcome for those American heroes. And that Redskins nickname story, Coach Roger Goodell has met with some seeking a name change. And the owner Dan Snyder pointing to support from other Native American groups as his reason to retain the name. Certainly more chapters on that story to be written in the future, but a worthy group honored here tonight. Start of the quarter, off the turnover by Washington. Kaepernick back at it, back to the air, and Vernon Davis downfield. At the 20, Davis, and the former D.C. native to the 17-yard line. A pickup of 42.
Yeah, these 49ers are lacking weapons, aren't they, Mike? They line up Vernon Davis as a wide receiver. He's going to run a post route against the starting right corner of the Washington Redskins, and he shreds Josh Wilson. But it's the pistol formation. It's the threat of the zone read that lures all the linebackers to Kaepernick, and it creates a one-on-one with Vernon Davis to the post, and they're picking on Wilson of the Redskins.
That's right. John, they didn't have a completion over 17 yards the last 2 games. They have it on back-to-back plays and 3 times already. And that sets up your run for Gore. Frank takes it inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. And after the play, a little nastiness is separated quickly.
This is the area on defense where the Redskins have been at their worst this year, Mike. They've given up a touchdown almost 67% of the time. That won't cut it in pro football. It's critical that they find a way to keep San Francisco out of the end zone. They don't want to fall behind. They're not built to come from behind week in and week out.
Kendall Hunter came in for Gore. That time, Reed Dowdy coming up to the line of scrimmage. Got penetration from the safety spot. Kendrick Golston up front also on the tackle. Give us a chance to point out that Stephen Bowen, starter up front, knee injury, out for Washington here tonight. So they're a little thin on that defensive front.
This is the area you have to keep an eye on Vernon Davis. If I'm a Washington Redskin, I know that Vernon Davis has 8 receiving touchdowns, and he's in the slot in an O-back set at the bottom of the screen.
Third and 5 in the pattern for Kaepernick. Look out from behind. Arakpo couldn't get him. Kaepernick got away from Riley. On the run, Kaepernick met by Brandon Merriweather. That big hitter who has been suspended and fined this year for his hits. That was legal over at the sideline and will force a field goal attempt.
They're faking a little quick screen to the right. You're going to see Arakpo provide the pressure off of Joe Staley on the left side. Kaepernick just eludes it. And this is dangerous when you're running full speed into a free safety. You don't want to take those on your right shoulder, Mike. And Brandon Merriweather pounds Kaepernick.
One of the older and more dependable kickers in the league. Phil Dawson from 29. Knocks it through all those years with Cleveland, 14 years. Now at age 39, still going strong. 10-0 for the defending NFC champs. Hands out helping this Thanksgiving week. Capital Area Food Bank helped 21,000 volunteers, providing 500,000 meals to people in the Washington metro area. I know a lot of you who are watching will serve time food banks, food lines, helping folks have a Thanksgiving dinner, and we salute and applaud all of you and all your efforts. And the Redskins had a nice food drive here at the stadium on Saturday afternoon. Struggle for Washington right now. San Francisco capitalizes on the turnover, turns it into 3, and leading 10-0. Kicking off again. Niles Paul to return. Past the first hit to Sim Osgood with the tackle. Let's go back to that last possession and the education of a quarterback.
Well, this is simple to me. This is a bootleg, and if Alden Smith doesn't buy the fake and comes up the field, there's only one play to make. Throw it to Logan Paulson, your hot receiver, complete or incomplete, but don't force it down the field and take a hit. That's bad quarterback play by Griffin. He's trying to do too much on that particular play. You don't want to mess around with Alden Smith when he's unblocked, especially when you're running a bootleg to your left.
Lauded for the lack of interceptions last year because people were buying all those read option fakes and receivers were wide open. This year it's been a different story. There's a run to the right for Alfred Morris, and he gets across the 20-yard line to the 22-yard line. John, we talk about Robert Griffin III and this Redskin team, and they have been playing from behind a lot. They've led 18% of the time. That's the lowest in the league, lower than Jacksonville now. And this is an offense that right now is not built to come from double digits behind on a regular basis.
This is a team that runs the football. They rely on running it, and so far they've not been able to do that either, Mike.
Bunch formation to the left. Griffin had trouble getting the handle. Got it to Garcon. And Pierre with the first down to the 33-yard line. You had Garcon on the bus. And John, this week a good reminder of what a key figure he is in this Washington offense.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best kept secrets in the NFC. He has 67 catches. That's his 68th, which leads the NFC. He's had 5 catches or more in every game. Believe it or not, he's closing in on the great Art Monk's single season receiving record. He's had an unbelievable year as the go-to guy for the Skins.
on pace to get that Monk mark if he can keep going with these stats. Monk caught 106 passes, the Hall of Famer, in 1984. That was a sideline shot. That is caught by Joshua Morgan. Just the 12th catch for Morgan. This is a player who was inactive, John, because of his productivity, essentially benched. But with the injury to Leonard Hankerson, Morgan has now come back into the fold along with Fred Davis. Those two players being asked to step into a more significant role here tonight.
And they need to get after and test these young defenders in this 49ers secondary where they've had injuries. Terrell Brown is out tonight. Chris Culver, another very good corner, hurt in training camp. And Eric Reed, a rookie safety.
41, here is Morris, good, opening to the right. And Alfred Morris takes it into San Francisco territory to the 47-yard line.
Well, that time they fooled Ahmad Brooks, and you're going to see Dante Whitner coming together on a blitz, wide side of the field. Good cut back running by Alfred Morris, who quietly is third in the NFL in rushing. Nice work.
Chance to get to 1,000 yards for the season here tonight. Morris takes Dan Skuda to the 42-yard line. So the rookie stories last year. Griffin, of course, in his wild success as the number 2 pick. But Morris in the 6th round, another one of those late round draft picks inserted immediately into a Mike Shanahan offense that shines. 1,613 yards last year. More room again this year as he put his shoulder down, hit Willis and Whitner, and got the first down.
This guy's a heck of a back, and he understands this zone running scheme. He stays on his course. He presses it, and he cuts it back with great patience and vision. And he can explode on impact and really move the pile.
Griffin, complete. Morgan fighting for yards and close to the first down. This is a nice tempo and pace to the offense. Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son, third year as the offensive coordinator. Worked with you, John, back in Tampa Bay as he got away from his dad a little bit to help learn some offense, and then went to Gary Kubiak in Houston and comes with some good concepts as he reunites with his dad in Washington. To the left, Kalu. What a good play to penetrate, make the stop by Patrick Willis, the All-Pro, his first 6 years in the league.
Patrick Willis just said, hello, hello. What an outstanding player, number 52. He reads the stretch play right off his right side, and this is sudden impact when Patrick Willis finds you. 3rd and 1.
Pistol, run, Kalu. Good job to seek the space and get a first down at the 20-yard line.
Let's go! Nice finish. The second vicious finish by Roy Halou. There's a lot of congestion right at the line of scrimmage, but Halou keeps his feet alive, knows where to get that first down, and nice job finishing.
Great tempo in this drive. Nice play of it. Griffin booting, throwing off the hands of Paul, and Paulson, and incomplete. Logan Paulson was cutting underneath, Garcon behind him. That's a couple of times this year we've seen 2 receivers almost in the same spot waiting for the ball with Washington.
You can see what happens, Mike, when you get this zone stretch running game going. The bootlegs off of the stretch are very, very difficult to defend. But you're right, that's not very good route distribution when you have 2 offensive players in the same area.
Garcon saying, hey, with all due respect, Logan, I'm closing in on 70 catches. Let that one get to me. Nothing he could know. Before play 11 of this drive, Washington chooses to stop it halfway through the quarter. 3-7 Redskins trying to get on the board. Last night it was quarterback play the way we've grown up with it with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Tonight it's quarterback of the future, perhaps. This was the sizzle of last year, the Kaepernick and RG3, and the way the position was going to change. Russell Wilson, Cam Newton. Well, we see here as these players have struggled this season, some of their youthful growing pains. Kaepernick has looked good the last few drives. This has been the best drive of the night for Griffin and the Redskins in the red zone, down 10-0. Quick toss, Joshua Morgan being chased down, and virtually no gain. Tony Gerard Eddy who's in because Ray McDonald with the ankle injury is out again. A nice job by the second-year man from Texas A&M.
That's the 4th quick screen that the Redskins have thrown already, Mike. And some of them, I think the wide receiver comes off the field and says, throw that to somebody else the next time, because these 49ers have shown great pursuit.
That's a great sideline-to-sideline defense.
Yes, it is.
San Francisco. Terrific speed at so many positions. Halou is the back, 3rd and 9. Here comes the pressure. Griffin throws, incomplete.
And that's the blitz that continues to reject Robert Griffin. It's an all-out blitz. They're going to come from everywhere, Mike, and play zero coverage. Watch these safeties come up and clamp their coverage. No help anywhere. Minnesota, all-out blitz. Philadelphia used an all-out blitz, and the 49ers said, let's try an all-out blitz ourselves. The Redskins just have not handled all-out blitz at all in the last 3 weeks.
Ty Forbath missed a few games 2 through 4. Struggled during the season. Is from 36 yards and gets Washington its first points of the night. So a good drive, stalls in the red zone, but Washington puts up 3, and they're down 7. Francisco beat Green Bay in the opening weekend, then lost to 2 good teams, Seattle and Indianapolis. Follow that with a 5-game win streak, dominating lesser competition, but they've lost their last 2 to Carolina and New Orleans. That's why Jim Harbaugh and Colin Kaepernick's team right now 6-4, momentarily on the outside looking in that top to bottom toughest division in the NFL, the NFC West. St. Louis has put together some good games in a row, and Arizona at 7-4 off their win over the Colts yesterday. Short kickoff taken from the 5-yard line. LaMichael James brings it out shy of 30. He's down at the 28. Let's go back to the end of that drive and the play that's missed a little bit by a quarterback who's learning what to do.
Well, you get in the red zone, you're going to see all-out blitzing, especially when you've been hurt by it before. You see Carlos Rogers come off the slot. You have to know where your hot receiver is, Mike, and you have to throw the ball on time before the blitz can get there. But these are things you have to anticipate that are coming. When you get hurt by the Vikings one week, the Eagles the next by all-out blitzing, you better prepare for it and expect it on Monday Night Football.
So Moss is open enough that you should hit him even though it's pressure in your face.
Absolutely.
Gore to the left on first down. He takes it for about 2 shy of the 30-yard line. And with these quarterbacks, as people have started to figure them out and limit how much read option, wide open, we're tricking everybody in the league with the offseason to study it. The basics of quarterbacking are starting to become more of a spotlight for both players.
It's not all going to be roses. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but these 2 young quarterbacks have the right stuff, and then they have the talent to become great.
Ryan Kerrigan walks out here in front of Anquan Bolden. Kaepernick sees that coverage and makes this adjustment. Time was running out, so timeout San Francisco. Under 6 minutes left, 49ers leading by 7. We saw Frank Gore run it to the left to gain a couple of yards. It was the second time he has come over to the sideline immediately after a play here in the second quarter. And he's being looked at. Kendall Hunter, LaMichael James, Anthony Dixon, the other running backs here for San Francisco. Let's watch Gore. Such an integral part to the San Francisco offense. As mentioned by John, franchise leader. He's closing in on 10,000 yards. And John, after the injuries we saw him suffer at the end of his college career, a lot of folks didn't believe Frank Gore, a 3rd-round pick, would go on to be the stud running back he's been almost a decade now.
8-man front. Kaepernick's going to throw it.
Good option with Hunter to the left. It goes to the 32-yard line, a gain of 3.
This safety, man, Reed Dowdy, number 37. I think he's playing good football for the Redskins. And he's crawling up into an 8-man front, especially on these early downs. He's daring Kaepernick to throw the football. I'm surprised that the 49ers aren't going after Josh Wilson, number 26. They've had success throwing it at him.
To put speed on the field to stay with Kaepernick, Washington goes 6 DBs again. 3rd and 5, 7 in coverage. Kaepernick looking, almost intercepted. The one linebacker left on the field, Perry Riley Jr. almost had a pick 6.
Colin Kaepernick can't do that. He's late down the middle. He telegraphed that throw all the way, and Perry Riley reads his eyes and should make this interception and go to the house with it. You have to see throws in the middle of the football field, and Perry Riley zoomed in on Kaepernick the whole way there, and that's the one thing this Redskin defense hasn't done. They have not made the impact plays this year.
Andy Lee to Santana Moss. Their catch signaled. Kick was 48. And Moss, who was a terrific punt returner for the Jets back in 02, 03, and 04, grabs it at the 20. Washington's defense, London Fletcher was on the bench that play. The rest of the guys came up with a big play. Brandon Browner suspended for a year for his substance abuse policy. Adam Schefter had that report on countdowns, the stuff you get on NFL Insiders at 3 Eastern every day, followed by NFL Live at 4 Eastern every day on ESPN. Those guys always on top of all the news and what it means on the field. 2 good hours to spend for football fans daily. Redskins take over from their own 20, and Morris goes to the right, and Alfred gains just a yard.
This Tony Gerard Eddy, number 63. Interesting story. Not drafted out of Texas A&M. Eddy wanted to make the team. They kept him on the practice squad. He made the 53-man roster. He went from being on the bubble to starting for the NFC champions on Monday Night Football that time. Did an excellent job disengaging and forcing a 1-yard gain.
Another carry, Morris. Good penetration by Navarro Bowman. 3rd and long coming up again.
It starts up front. These defensive linemen do an excellent job keeping their linebackers clean. I don't think anybody touches Navarro Bowman. Exceptional instincts and quickness. Very productive San Francisco 49er linebacker.
And they're not huge defensive linemen like those guys we often talk about, just keeping their linebackers clean.
That's why they can play all night, because they're in such great condition. They're not carrying any extra baggage.
Great point. Griffin has struggled in 3rd down passes here tonight. Looking for his first connection and underthrown. But ruled a catch at the 39-yard line for Santana Moss, who spins it for a 1st down.
There's an excellent player right there, Moss. Very productive slot receiver that time. He goes down on it, protects the catch, and let's take a look, Mike. Looks pretty good.
Kept his hands up.
Got Jerry Austin give me the thumbs up before I can say anything. I got Jerry sticking that thumbs up right in there for me.
You asked me. You decided on your own. Thanks.
I need all the help I can get.
You saw Griffin go up and give a little low 5 with Santana Moss. They had words back and forth in the media this week. Griffin's sideline shot caught by Morgan. Joshua Morgan into 49er territory at the 43-yard line.
Don't think Joshua Morgan wouldn't like a piece of his old team. Morgan, a very productive San Francisco 49er prior to signing with the Redskins. Runs a nice sideline route. And Griffin looks good, Mike. Griffin has thrown the quick game. He's also completed a couple passes off of the play action, and he's got the Redskins on the move again.
4 catches for Morgan. John was the 6th-round pick of the 49ers back in 08. Last year he came to Washington, led the team in receptions. Morris through the trash. Nice run to the 37-yard line. Set up 2nd and 5 as we get to the 2-minute warning. So after really looking poor, no first downs their first 3 drives, Washington has gained a little bit of base and stability, and they're trying to drive for a tying touchdown. At the 2-minute warning, San Francisco 10, Washington 3. Toyota halftime, couple minutes away with Chris Berman. We'll have those Sunday soundtracks as usual. Listen in. We'll Bill Belichick post-game from the thrilling New England victory over Denver in overtime. And the Sunday Gruden Grinders are ready to roll. Got good stuff this week?
I got great stuff. Hang on, man. Don't go anywhere.
We will watch teams getting hot after really poor starts. Inside of 2 minutes. Any replay reviews initiated upstairs from this point on for the half. And not much on that second down run to the left. Glenn Dorsey, that former top 5 pick of the Chiefs, now here with the 49ers tackling Marks.
Dorsey does it in the running game and in the passing game. This guy, number 90, he had 4 sacks in 5 years in Kansas City. He's got 2 here in San Francisco already, and he's found a home at the nose tackle position.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John. It's odd because we thought he'd be a Warren Sapp type player, not Sapp's level, but that type of player. Now he's just a pure nose tackle here in San Francisco. It's working out.
Go back set. Watch out for Griffin running the ball himself in this formation.
4 receivers right. It's a quick throw to Morgan. Can he get past? Yeah, worked the sideline and got it. First down. So the block was held long enough by Niles Paul, and it gave Morgan the space to get a first down against his old team.
The 5th quick screen of the night. Spread formation. You can throw a quick screen to the left, throw a quick screen to the right. You're counting on lead blocking. Nice job by 84 Niles Paul and number 82 Logan Paulson. Here come the Redskins out of the no huddle.
Washington letting a lot of time go down. That was a backward pass, by the way. 45 seconds. Griffin throwing. It's brought in and trying to fight out of bounds. Here's Garcon as he's thrown out there by Tremaine Brock.
It's been free access all night. I haven't seen any challenging coverages from the 49ers yet. These corners are playing soft, off coverage, and they're giving these Redskins some easy completions.
70 receptions to Garcon on the season. Now 41 seconds, 2 timeouts for Washington. Right back in the spot where they could not get the first down to keep the drive alive on the last drive. It turned into a field goal.
They must expect full blitz at some point in the red zone.
Oh, this is just brutal here. You have 2 timeouts and 41 seconds left, and you have to take a timeout with the clock stopped inside the 2-minute warning. Shanahan was not very happy, and I think he was yelling at Griffin. I couldn't tell exactly, but he was very displeased with a stopped clock that they had to waste a time out there. Now down to 1 with only 41 seconds left.
Got to be alert if you're a Washington Redskin for the all-out blitz from these 49ers. They got him the last time.
Roy Halou is the back. Speedster Aldrick Robinson, bottom of the screen. Griffin is flush, now taking off up the middle of the field, lost the football. It's free, it was slapped, and the Redskins able to hang on to it and recover, but the clock still runs. He has to use that last timeout here in this fumble pile, and Shanahan will take the timeout. 25 seconds left. Timeout Washington.
You have to check on Robert Griffin because Justice Smith on the left side of your screen.
He and Gerard Eddy come in, and Gerard Eddy got the direct hit on Griffin.
Whew. Wow. And that continues to plague Robert Griffin. I think that's his 25th fumble, Mike, in 23 games.
He certainly had more trouble hanging onto the ball this year. And you mentioned the fumbling problems for Griffin since coming in the league last year, which saw the helmet-to-helmet contact there with Gerard Eddy. Griffin as a runner, it's different protections. That helmet-to-helmet defenseless player. As a runner, you don't have those same protections as a defenseless receiver or quarterback in the pocket. Now, no timeouts, 3rd and 8 with 28 seconds remaining in this first half. Four-man rush. Griffin throws. It is caught. Garcon can't get out of bounds. 22 seconds left. And they're thinking about running the field goal unit on here. As they're short, they're short of the first down, so they have to go. So the scramble is on to get 11 on both ways. Kai Forbath has time. A field goal attempt from 35 is good at the end of the half.
That's an excellent job, Mike, by Keith Burns, the special teams coach, to get that off. You practice it every week, but it never seems to happen. Desperation field goal. Well done.
It was one of those odd ones. They were just short of the first down, but no measurement there, so they ran them on and got the field goal kick. 10-6 San Francisco. Niners get the ball to start the third. Here's Chris Berman. Second half here, Landover, Maryland, FedEx Field. Dozen miles from the nation's capital, San Francisco and Washington. Division champs from last year, 10-6. As we get this third quarter going, Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters down on the field. We spoke of the quarterbacks in the beginning and the maturation process. Some of the growing pains we've seen this year, a little bit of a microcosm of that in the first half.
Yeah, and I think both these quarterbacks are going to have to throw the ball to win, particularly Colin Kaepernick. The Redskins are loading the box with Redskins to stop this 49er running game, and they're giving him some premier looks to throw the football. I'd be shocked if you don't see that to start this third quarter.
They didn't have a lot of opportunities in that second quarter because Washington had the two long drives that both ended up in a field goal. And by the way, we went back right after we went to halftime and watched that last play. It was so close to a first down. One was not awarded. It was fourth down. As we said, they had to rush the field goal unit on. But even if they did get the first down, it would have been so close on the measurement to spike the ball and get the field goal unit on a first down situation. So eventually, net, what happened on the field made sense. The run by LaMichael James on the return gets across the 30. It's a nice return out to the 35-yard line.
Let me show you, Mike. When I mean loading the box, there are 8 Redskins loading the box, and I don't care how you go to our blocking running plays, and there's 9 and 8 defenders in the box. It's hard to make any yardage. So when it is an 8-man front, throw the ball to Anquan Bolden against one-on-one coverage. Throw the ball to Manningham. Take advantage of these loaded boxes where you have one-on-one coverage, and there's Reed Doughty walking up into the 8-man front again.
He's just one safety back deep, 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. As Kaepernick throws, almost intercepted. Perry Riley Jr., second time he's gotten a hand on it. Lisa Salters, what's going on down there?
Hey, Mike, well, Jim Harbaugh told me heading into the locker room that he was going to focus on converting third downs on offense. The 49ers just 2 of 6 on third downs in that first half. On defense, as far as slowing down the Redskins running game, he said, look, our guys are doing a good job of tackling, but we just got to stay in our run gaps. Mike Shanahan said he was pleased with the way his team finished out the first half. He said we finally got a couple of drives going, but had to settle for field goals. Hopefully in these next 30 minutes, we can convert some of those to touchdowns.
We have 13 and 11 plays, those 2 Washington drives. This is Kendall Hunter to the right, and this defense for the Redskins against Doughty, along with Barry Cofield, making the tackle.
And it's a familiar formation that's going around the country right now. It's 4-back pistol formation. That time they motioned Vernon Davis out of the formation to become a standard tight end, and Barry Cofield runs down a stretch play. But the 49ers do a lot of shifting, and so far the Redskins have neutralized this running game and put Colin Kaepernick in some difficult third and long situations.
Where's Bolden? He's in the slot. Where's Vernon Davis? He's tight to the line right next to Bolden. 3rd and 9. There is Vernon Davis. 3 Redskins tackle him. Ball came out. Picked up by Merriweather. Washington ball on a turnover. Washington of San Francisco's side says it was down by contact. But as Davis was fighting for the extra yards, it was popped free. And for the moment, it's Redskin football.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think this ball is out. You saw Cofield, the nose tackle, poke it out. It's an excellent job by Barry Cofield, a nose tackle.
Our aerial coverage on this 35-degree night is presented by DirecTV. Replay booth confirms that it is Washington ball on the turnover. And the Redskins take over in San Francisco territory at the 49-yard line. Griffin back to work with an offense that scored on the last 2 drives. The run by Alfred Morris to the left. 3 yards and Navarro Bowman tackle. Let's go back to this play. Josh Wilson, who John talked about, has been picked on a little bit. He's got a hand in here and a face mask on Vernon Davis that probably should have been called. It was not. But then Barry Cofield with the hustle from his line spot.
That's just a great effort by Cofield. And the 49ers, unfortunately, didn't get the call, the face mask, but great effort by Barry Cofield, the captain of this Redskin defense.
A tremendous opportunity here for Washington. 2nd and 7. Griffin throws sideline. And the former Niner continues to have a good night. Griffin got hit hard by Aldon Smith. The catch made by Morgan.
Or did he get hit? I don't know if he's hurt. It looks like he's shaken up.
And the pass also incomplete on that far side, John, as he went to the ground with it. You see, he may have gotten hit in the midsection, may have been the thing that was the most troubling. Now we need to check the play as they show it on the big screen here. Shanahan thinking about challenging. The catch was made by Morgan on the far side, and did he go to the ground, maintain possession? Shanahan will challenge, and here's the look at it.
Washington is challenging previous play. Catch, which was incomplete. We'll review the play.
Feet in bounds easily there. Here you see the ball slip free underneath there, and that will be incomplete because of that angle and that look. 2.5 years since replay up in the booth automatically started reviewing scoring plays. It's a 50-50 proposition exactly. 246 calls changed, 246 stand. I think it's what's going to stand.
The ruling's been confirmed as an incomplete pass. The receiver did not maintain possession of the ball throughout the act of completing the catch. Washington is charged with the timeout.
Here, John Parry's explanation, simple there. As on the sideline, Eric Reed, the rookie safety, made the hit. And the one angle that first angle Mike Shanahan got a look at, saw the ball, and his receiver came over and said, challenge it. He's the guy who's got to know. And try to encourage the challenge. The replay shown on the board here. It showed it to look like a catch. That later angle, different look showing it comes out. So challenge lost. 3rd and 7. And Griffin is complete. Santana Moss can't get there as San Francisco rallies to the ball with Carlos Rogers. And it will be taking over inside of midfield, but 3 and out.
Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, brings a blitz, and down goes Robert Griffin again.
They're going to keep the offense on the field here, John, on 4th. About 1.5 yards, needing to get almost 2 full yards, needing to get to the San Francisco 39.
Watch the hard count if you're a 49er. No snap, no play. Be alert for that.
All right, they're going to go for it. And they'll try to run it with Roy Halou. No. Yards short. And on downs, it will go over to San Francisco. Willis and Whitner combined on the stop. 5th time
Ruling
this
on the
year.
field is down by contact, short of the line of game. 1st and 10. San Francisco.
5th time this year the Redskins and Mike Shanahan have had good field position starting the opponent's side of midfield. It's the first time they haven't scored a touchdown. They didn't even get a first down. Redskins owner Daniel Snyder watches the box to our right here at midfield. His team going for it on 4th down, not picking it up. So Kaepernick with good field position despite that turnover on the first drive of the 3rd. And a gain of just about 3 yards with Frank Gore. Nicked in the first half, returning here in the 2nd. Alternating plays for the moment here with Kendall Hunter and LaMichael James.
Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, mixing coverages. That time, the Redskins spun out of their 8-man front, went back to a cover 2. Look, fooled Kaepernick. Setting up a 2nd down and 7.
King left, firing that way. Davis, and incomplete. Reed Dowdy over there with Merriweather, 2 safeties, following the DC native Davis.
This is a complex offense, and young Colin Kaepernick is asked to do a lot. Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, he'll call 3 plays at once, Mike. And Kaepernick will go to the line of scrimmage with the play called. He can alert it to another play, and he can use a live audible to get to the 3rd play. So far, the Redskins have rejected the 49er early down runs, and they continue to put young Colin Kaepernick in some tough 3rd down.
3rd and 7. Over the middle throw. Bolden hangs on. Don't stop a hit. And takes it to the 24. Strong and tough. Anquan Bolden, 1st down. 49.
Not many wide receivers have the courage to run straight down the seam and catch this ball with a free safety beaten down on you. Unbelievable concentration. Watch Bakari Rambo with the knockout shot. And Anquan Bolden is as tough as they get. World champion. Long time he's done it at a high level.
Josh Wilson, primary coverage. They try to draw it with Gore, and that's a loss of yardage. Ryan Kerrigan on the tackle for a loss of a couple of yards. Obviously, we've gone to the passing era in the NFL, so most receptions per game in NFL history are all modern players, all active players, except for Marvin Harrison. But Bolden is right up there. Go back to his very first game with Arizona. He had a huge game and a couple of 100 catch seasons, I should say, with the Cardinals early on. 2nd and 11. Kaepernick. Davis couldn't stay in bounds to score, but he'll have 1st and goal at the 7.
Redskins aren't ready, Mike. Kaepernick uses a quick count. He sends 4 verticals and no one covers. Vernon Davis at the top of the screen right down the rail. And they put Reed Dowdy in an impossible situation, but they snap the ball quickly. The Redskins aren't ready, and Vernon Davis has control in 2 feet.
Pass play to Bolden was 32, 21 to Davis. From the 6, Kaepernick. Everything's covered left. Room to run to the right. Now he draws it, throws it for the touchdown to Bolden.
Second reaction plays. It's the strength of Colin Kaepernick, and Anquan Bolden uncovers against D'Angelo Hall, who has to hold his coverage for almost 10 seconds. He's looking to his left. There's nobody open. Protection holds up. He escapes to his right. And Anquan Bolden works the end line to perfection.
And the man drafted in the Major League Baseball draft for that rocket arm, who had a fastball that clocked at 94 miles an hour, threw a fastball on the run there. The raw talent of Colin Kaepernick that's eye-opening. The ability to be elusive, the gun to throw it. 2 touchdowns tonight caught by Anquan Bolden. Talked about the raw abilities of Colin Kaepernick on display, and a little bit of the football smarts as well, keeping it alive and knowing who to find for the touchdown.
And we also talked at the beginning of this broadcast, you better keep him in the pocket. He's looking to his left. There's nobody open. If you let him out of there, he's a problem, Mike. And it's not fair to D'Angelo Hall to ask him to hold his coverage for this long. I mean, Anquan Bolden runs a back shoulder fade. He starts his scramble drill, and this is 10, 12 seconds later. That's an impossible down for D'Angelo Hall against Anquan Bolden, who continues to elevate his play at money time.
Opened a lot of eyes when in the offseason you heard, well, Bolden from one Harbaugh to the other for a 6th-round pick. Well, Baltimore wasn't going to pay the financial on the contract to keep Anquan Bolden there. And certainly the recommendation was high from one Harbaugh brother to another. Niles Paul hit hard by Dan Scooter, not Scooter. It's 57, Michael Wilhoit for his 2nd special teams tackle on that one. Oh, here are the numbers so far. Kaepernick is averaging 17 yards of completion. And John, this for an offense that didn't have a pass longer than 17 yards completed the last 2 weeks. So it's much better for a passing game against this poor Washington defense, while it has been a struggle for Griffin and limited rushing yards tonight.
And field position continues to plague the Redskins. It just seems every time they get the ball, they're at their own 20-yard line with a long way to go against a good defense.
Griffin in trouble. Aldon Smith sacks him for a loss of 10 yards.
I don't know if anybody's blocked him. He clobbered Griffin in the first half when he was unblocked, and that time Aldon Smith shoots off the right side. He beat Trent Williams bad. That's what Aldon Smith brings to the table. The last time I saw him play live was against the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football, and he had 5.5 sacks. 38 sacks in his first 32 games. If they get him humming again, look out, NFC.
Mentioned earlier, Smith away from the team for 5 games, had that DUI arrest late September. Played 1 game and checked himself into a treatment facility. Now his 3rd game back, his first sack back since the absence. Griffin's in trouble again. Looking anywhere, and wisely, since he's out of the pocket, can just get rid of it. And he does. Griffin getting hit at the back end of that play.
Well, he's taken an unbelievable amount of hits. And I don't know how he can survive this, Mike. I really don't. I mean, he disappears off the screen. Big bodies planting Robert Griffin repeatedly tonight.
Sometimes Smith, as he lifted his leg up, got Griffin in the sensitive area, and on that last play, as he got to the sideline, he was shoved out of bounds, and all those hits were legal, as you saw there. 3rd and 18, draw with Halou for 2, and that's all. Tony Gerard Eddy again with another play on that 49er front, in for the injured Ray McDonald.
You're right, in for the injured Ray McDonald. They're replacing him with an undrafted free agent, and Gerard Eddy looks like a young Ray McDonald. They are really playing lights out football within their front 7.
Washington 4 and out on the first drive as they went for it on 4th down. Then 3 and out. Rocca gets it away, 47 yards. A little head of steam for LaMichael James, the former Oregon Duck. To Washington territory at the 45, but there is a penalty flag down. Only had 1 accepted penalty here on the night.
Kicking team player, number 34, voluntarily went out of bounds on his own. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down. Timeout.
Bring him even closer. That drive made tough because of the San Francisco defense, which put the pressure. Seattle, we can hear you already. It is going to be so loud and so good next Monday night. Once in Monday Night Football history, this late in the season, there was a better record matchup. 10-1 San Francisco against 10-1 Giants in 1990. But next Monday night, it's 10-1 Seattle, 9-2 New Orleans. 5:25 Pacific time. Be ready in the Great Northwest.
Who's the 12th man going to be?
We have some intel, but we cannot share that at this moment. So. Would you like to do it?
I would.
Raise the flag? It's going to be a great night out in Seattle. America's Game of the Week next week. Here's Gore to the left. Gain of 7 yards to the 33. Everybody's got to have some fun every once in a while. We're halfway through the quarter.
I do, and I have fun watching these gimmick runs, these 49ers run. Watch Frank Gore. He's going to start to his right, then he's going to cut it back to his left, and they're going to pull linemen. But if the flow starts one way, the play goes the other, and there comes 650 pounds of pulling guards. 2nd and 3, and the 49ers continue to use these jumbo formations. A lot of tight ends and big bodies on the field. Top of the screen.
Right back Gore, read well by Arakpo. Brian Arakpo, entering a contract year here this year. Remember, the torn pectoral muscle held him back a year ago.
Michael Crabtree, the injured wide receiver of the 49ers, is probably saying, man, I can't wait to come back with all these loaded boxes and one-on-one coverages. I can't wait to come back and help Anquan Bolden. A lot of premier looks to throw the ball against.
Bolden lined up next to Kaepernick. John mentioned multiple plays called. Alerts everyone which one it's going to be on 3rd and 4. Players going everywhere, and LaMichael James can't catch it. It's incomplete. And it's fourth down.
Interested to see if Coach Harbaugh uses Phil Dawson as a long-range field goal kicker here. It looks like he's going to go for it, Mike.
The field goal attempt from here would be 52 yards. The slight breeze is behind Dawson, who has been very accurate over the years from 50 plus, but up 11 they're going to go for it.
Bolden in the slot. He's been the impact player tonight for the 49ers.
Vernon Davis, man-to-man, bottom of the screen. Kaepernick, escaping, circling, in all kinds of trouble, up for grabs. Incomplete, and the Redskins defense comes up with a stand off the very good field position at the opponent's 40. San Francisco does nothing.
That's a credit to the Redskin defense for containing Kaepernick that time.
Today, the news that Jerry Seaman passed away, director of officiating for the NFL for 11 years after a very distinguished career on the field as an official. He was the referee in 2 Super Bowl games, including that Buffalo Giants famous Super Bowl 25. Our thoughts to the Seaman family, including his son Jeff, who's also an on-field official in the National Football League, and actually worked the game last night in New England. Redskins down 11 and taking over from their own 34, and it's a run for Alfred Morris to the 41-yard line. The conversation again has come up, John, about the relationship. Mike Shanahan, Robert Griffin III, going forward, what's going to happen here? It was this type of tone last year when this team was up against the ropes. Then they went on that great streak, won 7 in a row and made the playoffs. Seems very unlikely this year at 3-7, even in the poor NFC East. Morris on 2nd and 3. Good again. Alden Smith with a penalty flag down as Smith had the penetration. And it looks like he was held even though he got in the backfield. Again, John Parrott.
Holding offense, number 84, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
John, the other topic of the week was the leadership with Robert Griffin III and this Redskin team. His quotes were, nobody was open, they knew our plays, not I made mistakes in the loss to Philadelphia.
Well, there's a lot of noise here, but remember, Griffin's wearing that C on his chest that stands for captain. And these are the times when you have to show your leadership. It's easy to lead when you're 10-6, everything's going great. It's hard to lead when you're down in last place and you're behind by 11 points. That's what I want to see young Robert Griffin do right here. Lead this Redskin team no matter what the score is.
Penalty made at 2nd and 13. Pierre Garçon with a catch and that run shy of the 40-yard line as Willis and Rogers, Patrick and Carlos, there make the stop.
But you know, you wear that C on your chest, you're voted that by your captains, and that means you got to be credible every day, and you got to be consistent in good times and bad, and you got to make the clutch plays when they're there to be made. And he's such a young player in such an unbelievable media capital, Mike. There's a lot of pressure, and you just have to deal with it, but it's not easy.
3rd and 5, 4-man rush. Griffin goes down, and he sacked as Justin Smith helps take him down. Another physical shot taken by the Washington quarterback.
There's just nowhere for Griffin to go with the football. He's just not feeling it down the field, and the rush is going to get in on him. Watch Griffin. Another stunt to contain him in the pocket. No open receivers, and you don't have very long to find an open target against this defense.
Rocco with the punt. LaMichael James back to 21. James up the sideline. Good burst by James. They say he stayed inbounds and finally taken out over there by the 42. It looked like he may have gone out of bounds a bit earlier, but an excellent return against this season-long poor Redskins punt coverage unit.
No wonder he twittered that he wanted the ball a little bit more. Nice work on the sidelines by LaMichael James. That's some fancy footwork, Mike.
He looked all good. The Redskins right on their sideline were doing a lot of pointing that he was out of bounds, but that replay look showed you he appeared to be inbounds throughout, and Washington's already used the challenge unsuccessfully, so if they challenge that one, they wouldn't earn another one. So 2 yards of net punt. It was a 42-yard kick, returned 40 by James. Second time in a row, San Francisco takes over in Washington territory, but Anquan Bolden just cost them 5 yards.
Ball start, offense, number 81, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's a bad penalty by Bolden. He knows that. And this is the second consecutive series that the 49ers have had great field position. It's important they knock Washington out and take advantage of this opportunity, Mike. They can't squander good field position. When you have a team down, you have to finish them this time of year.
The 44, Kaepernick throws to Vance McDonald, open and out of bounds at the 21. They had a terrific second tight end look with Delaney Walker, who's now with Tennessee. They hope the rookie from Rice, McDonald, can take some of that load.
Oh, it's a similar play they hit earlier in the third quarter. Out of a tight formation, you're going to see Vernon Davis on the inside attract all the coverage, and people forget about Vance McDonald at the top of the screen.
Kendall Hunter now the running back with a bootleg design run. Kaepernick setting up his blockers. Good patience by Kaepernick to take it out a yard shy of the first down.
I don't know how Greg Roman thinks of these plays, Mike. This is a designed run for Colin Kaepernick. Watch him pirouette out of here, and you're going to see the guard lead it on a delayed pull. Boone, Snyder lead Colin Kaepernick on a strange design quarterback run. Hadn't seen that one before.
That's nice patience, though. It looked like he was setting up his blockers like Gore or Hunter. Now it's Gore. And Frank Gore inside the 5-yard line for San Francisco. Taking advantage of the good field position here. Trying to put the Redskins in a big hole.
Kaepernick on a draw. He's going to drop back the pass, and these linebackers are going to think Kaepernick's going to throw the football. Just a slight hesitation. It's a draw play to Frank Gore, and he knows how to finish a run. Jumbo package by the 49ers. 67. Kilgore in the game as a tight end.
And San Francisco, sometimes they can out-trick themselves with their formations and their motions.
I can see why.
And their personnel groups. So the Niners have to burn their first time out of the hat. 1-point loss to Carolina a couple of weeks ago at Candlestick, and then the New Orleans game we showed you earlier, the Ahmad Brooks penalty that eventually allowed New Orleans to keep a drive alive, tie the game, and then Jim Harbaugh's team losing it with some poor decisions and plays made by players on the ensuing offensive drive. They're off back-to-back losses and trying to get to 7-4 and keep pace with the Cardinals in the division for the last playoff spot. Gore seeks that hole. Frank Gore pounding toward the goal line and yanked back by Fletcher and company at the 1.
I mean, they just shifted Anthony Davis, an offensive tackle, from left to right, Mike, and presented the illusion that they were going to. Look at Anthony Davis. He shifts over here to the right side to present the illusion they're going to run over here. Then they pull the guard and the fullback, and they run a counter back to the left. I wonder what this run game installation meeting is like.
Takes a while, doesn't it?
They must have some smart football players.
Again, 6 offensive linemen, including Daniel Kilgore, in motion to the right. As a pass to Vernon Davis, who is all alone. And the D.C. native's got a touchdown in his hometown.
It's tough design to deal with. When you have multiple tight ends in the game and you have a 320-pound wing tight end coming in motion, you have to assume they're going to hand the ball to Frank Gore. Reverse pivot, they fake the handoff to Gore, and there's nobody covering Vernon Davis. It looked like D'Angelo Hall sold out and took the fake.
Cost Vernon Davis a buck or two tonight. 34 tickets as he comes back to his hometown. Terrific athlete at Dunbar High School. Extra point added by Phil Dawson. Vernon Davis, career touchdown 49. With that touchdown catch, he passed the man who made the catch, Dwight Clark, on the all-time San Francisco list. 4-6. Colin Kaepernick has thrown 3 touchdown passes tonight. It looks a lot more like the guy we saw 53 weeks ago at Candlestick when he made his first NFL start. Here's the history. That time with Billy Wilson, 49 touchdowns on the all-time list. Slightly behind the franchise leader. Jerry Rice has 176.
Vernon's going to have to play a lot longer. But you know what, Mike? Vernon Davis has made a lot of deep ball receptions for this 49er offense with the absence of Michael Crabtree. When Crabtree does come back, 49ers are going to be a force just like they were last year.
Crabtree tore his Achilles in May. Hoping to come back here in the next week. They'd have to activate him tomorrow to have him eligible to play for the rest of the season. Quarterback position's a little different for these teams now than it was back then.
You know, when I got this game, I saw the Redskins against the 49ers. I remember Joe Theismann and Joe Gibbs in the fun bunch, all the bunch formations against Joe Montana, Bill Walsh, the West Coast offense, 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drops. I mean, this is the mecca of the West Coast offense. This is where Joe Gibbs and the Hogs did a lot of damage. And I don't even recognize either one of these offenses. I mean, Bill Walsh never had a pistol read option. And I know Joe Gibbs wasn't back there in the shotgun running pistol dive option passes. But the game has really changed. But 2 global franchises that have been around in the NFL and dominated. I mean, these are multiple Super Bowl winning organizations that really had great offensive head coaches. But, man, times have changed.
Yeah, it's certainly changed. And now, as this evolutionary time of football goes forward, for people like you, it's, will you see this type of offense with these franchises again? They still try to keep some of the West Coast principles with the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Colin Kaepernick pirouette, guards are pulling. You're seeing some great stuff tonight, but the game certainly has changed. That's why you got to keep studying it, Tirico. You got to stay on top of your X's and O's.
I'm with you.
And Mike Shanahan, look at Mike Shanahan. He was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers. Now the head coach of the Redskins. I bet he feels the same way I do.
Talking with John Parry, the referee there, is Niles Paul. The kickoff return man was hit in the groin and stayed down for a moment. Good to see Paul getting up. Athletic training staff out to check on him and take him over to the sideline.
And I believe the Redskins will jump into their 2-minute drill, Mike.
And you see the third quarter total there, John. No first downs. The quarter started with San Francisco giving Washington a gift. The fumble by Vernon Davis, who was pulled by the face mask, but it was a fumble. Washington had the ball on the plus side of the field in San Francisco territory. Went 4 and out. And the 49ers have responded with a couple of touchdowns. Griffin Loden looking, shot for the speedster. Aldrick Robinson couldn't get it. Carlos Rogers with him in coverage. Man, Griffin, as he did in the first half, can throw it a long way. And that's into a slight breeze here.
And you have to really admire the way Carlos Rogers, the ex-Washington Redskin, plays the deep ball. It was close. I thought Rogers had a piece of Robinson, but it's good to see a no call, Mike, for a change.
It was a 60-yard throw in the air. He threw it 63 in the first half. Patrick Willis is there for the spinning Alfred Morris.
I'll tell you, Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, these two are the real deal. I mean, they don't mess around. Bowman will smash you if you have the ball in his vicinity.
Tremendous linebacking core. And boy, they were such a feature part of the defense as they turned it on that run to and through the NFC Championship game last year. Final seconds, third quarter.
Yeah.
Ahmad Brooks gets Griffin again.
Columbus can't handle Ahmad Brooks. And between Brooks and Aldon Smith, there's no forward pass offense in D.C. tonight.
After 3, 49ers up 24-6 on Monday Night Football. Off we go to quarter number 4. Here, just outside the nation's capital, Landover, Maryland. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. Defending NFC champion 49ers, leading 24-6. Well, Michael James just had a big punt return, muffs that one, gets on it at his own 45. Can't blame him for being anxious. Everybody's been anxious to return punts against Washington. They have the second poorest net return. Teams are averaging 18 yards per return on Washington's punts this year.
And Rocket just hit a line drive. The Redskins are fortunate that James did mishandle it.
What do you think of Kaepernick so far tonight, John?
I think he's been impressive. I think he got away with a ball that Perry Riley should have intercepted and maybe changed things in the third quarter. But overall, he's done a pretty good job managing a very difficult offense.
Kendall Hunter on the toss to the left. He slips and falls. Not much there. London Fletcher over on a stop.
You know, they use Kendall Hunter as a perimeter back, meaning they love toss sweeps. I used to call them 8 and 9 hole runs. And Hunter has shown the ability to get the edge. We've seen him tonight on occasion. They have a young back somewhere on that sideline named Marcus Lattimore, who they're putting on ice. There he is, the ex-South Carolina Gamecock, making the comeback from 2 serious knee injuries. If you're pulling for anybody, you're pulling for that kid. And if he regains his form, I want to apply for the running back job of the San Francisco 49ers.
Running back coach.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
That job. Lattimore had those 2 gruesome knee injuries in South Carolina. So much promise to his college career, but was back at practice this week for the first time. Game was stopped for a moment as Reed Doughty was helped off the field, and a good tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Ryan Kerrigan. With a loss of yardage there for Frank Gore. Here was the sight on Thursday, back at practice. So it's a special day once they got to the lunch break to finally get on the field. They don't expect him to play in the game this year. Those major knee ligament injuries back in 2011, dislocation of the knee last year. But the fact that he is still keeping his football hopes and career alive, and San Francisco has invested in not putting any pressure on him. Maybe get him next year. Quite a story. Down 18, Redskins fans trying to urge their team on the stop. They're not going to get it. Hold him for 20 and a first down, San Francisco.
Hey, if you're a young receiver at home, come and visit him in the offseason. This is an under route. Watch this north-south, no-nonsense finish. You're a slot receiver. You're in the land of giants. You have to know where the stakes are. And Anquan Boldin is as tough as they get. And does he ever bring a presence and a personality to San Francisco?
For left. Strung out by Barry Cofield. Well, touchdown to Davis, touchdown to Bolden. It's the only thing my friend Ted Robinson, who calls the 49ers games on radio, has said all year. Because that's all 14 of them. Nobody else has caught a touchdown pass yet. And again, Manningham is back. And he looked very good earlier on in this game off the serious knee injury. Crabtree and the torn Achilles. Will he be back next week? There's hope of that, certainly as the season goes on. And when you're around the 49ers, their belief is, can we just get a few weeks ahead, get Crabtree back, get in the tournament healthy with Crabtree, Bolden, Davis, our backs, and Kaepernick, and Manningham's improvement as he catches one there to the 37-yard line. And then we'll have a chance to do, the Niners are saying, what we did last year in the playoffs.
No question, Mike. And just keep grinding. Nice release against Josh Wilson, and the ball's thrown accurately again. But sometimes you have to just keep grinding, literally, until you get a full complement of players. Ray McDonald, Terrell Brown, a couple starters on defense that can really play. The Niners have some very good players in the bullpen that will be back for the stretch run.
Third and 3. Kaepernick elusive. He escapes. And on the run, he's going to go out of bounds. Shy of the first down. And Joe Staley, their terrific left tackle, is slow to get up, as he was on that edge in the rush being made by Orakpo. Good to see him up.
It's great acceleration by Kaepernick. He was waving to Bolden to take it up. Go down the field. I'll give you a shot at a big one. And once again, San Francisco's going for it on 4th down and 2.
Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, that very complex offense that Roman, Harbaugh, and the whole Stanford crew had going. Bringing a lot of it here, and again, all of that stuff forces this team to burn timeouts in these situations, probably more than most other teams around the league.
That's frustrating. You're in a short yardage critical situation, and you have to be on your game. They took one earlier in the red zone, and in a tight football game, that'll cost you.
Again, for San Francisco, the import tonight, trying to get to 7-4, get back over here where Arizona is, near that final playoff spot. I can use the telestrator. Don't look at me like that, brother. Seahawks and Saints up at the top. Interesting games coming up on Thanksgiving with the Lions and the Packers in Detroit, and then you'll have the Dallas Cowboys at 6-5 at home against Oakland. So 2 teams in division leads of divisions that are going to be a fight to the end, both in action on Thanksgiving.
Now, with all this time Coach Harbaugh had on the sideline, I expect a crazy exotic shift here in 4th down and 2.
Davis moved. Now the fullback Miller moves. Kaepernick's got nowhere to go except past everybody and get the first down at the 30. And he spiked the ball throwing it forward. You can spin the ball and not get a flag, but that cost him a flag, and now the flag is thrown. They'll be able to maintain the first down, but you'll get a delay of game penalty for spiking the ball.
And he should get a penalty for that. I don't know what the route is off the right side, but clearly nobody's open. He takes off, gets the first down, and it can end the night for the Redskins. Let's see what he did here.
Kind of threw it. The ball went about 15 yards.
Delay game. Number 7, San Francisco.
After seeing the
Spiking
replay,
the ball.
I disagree with that call.
Delaying the game.
Well, now hang on a
It
minute.
happened after the down. It will still be 1st and 10 after a 5-yard penalty.
It looked like he was going to spike to spin the ball, which Santana Moss does all the time. Here's the problem. When he went to go do it, the ball tumbles down the field about 15 yards, and the official sees that it looked like a spike. And it's clear. You can spin it, but you can't spike it. So
You can spin it, but you can't spike it.
perhaps the title of the book.
Wow. You've come a long way, man.
I don't make those rules. You can take it up with your friends on the competition committee, John, if you don't like them. Perhaps they can be a special invitee to their meetings in the offseason. Kendall Hunter is tackled the loss of a yard. You know, we showed that playoff picture in the NFC, and you think about the quality teams of Seattle, San Francisco, emergence of Arizona, New Orleans, who we'll see, Carolina, who we saw. That's a heck of a group of 4 or 5, and you know, the Lions with Calvin Johnson, Des Bryant, Tony Romo, and the Cowboys, or the Eagles, whoever get in over there. That's some great competition we could see the end of the season and the NFC portion of the tournament.
I agree.
Kaepernick, Davis couldn't get his second touchdown of the night.
Just watch Vernon Davis run. He comes out of his stance like he's running a 40-yard dash at the combine. He ran right through the Redskins. Not many tight ends can run down the seam and stretch it like Vernon Davis.
Interesting guy, always very smart, pleasure to talk to. That sideline dust-up with Mike Singletary sending him back to the locker room seems like a career ago. But it was certainly a fork in the road, and he's gone down the proper path of leadership and ability. 3rd and 11. Kaepernick again. He was past the line of scrimmage and used that pump to try to get Wilson out of the way. And even he has a laugh with London Fletcher and Josh Wilson as we get to 4th down again.
I just don't, excuse me, Mike, I just don't remember seeing quarterbacks run and take these kind of hits. And Kaepernick is certainly built to take a little bit more punishment than most quarterbacks, but
you're really worried about this, aren't you?
Oh, I'm just not accustomed to seeing quarterbacks take these kind of blows. I'm really not.
From 49, Phil Dawson. On some bad teams in Cleveland, he was one of the bright spots. That guy is a good kicker in tough conditions. He keeps getting hit, keeps getting up. San Francisco by 21. Bakery here, 250 pies baked in 2 days. Thanksgiving in the D.C. area, 9 different specialty pies at this local bakery. What would be your Thanksgiving during halftime of the Cowboys game? What's your Thanksgiving pie choice?
I was going to say pumpkin pie till I saw that pecan pie there.
Really?
Yeah. I like all kind of pie.
Apple pie?
I like apple pie.
Apple pie. A la mode. Miles Paul to return, brought back to the 20-yard line. Always look for a little apple pie halftime of the Cowboys game. Thanksgiving tradition. A la mode, please. On Robert Griffin III this year. 394 pass attempts, 32 with his team leading. We pointed out before they've spent the least time in the lead of any team in the league this year. And it becomes predictable stuff. And here they open with a run, down 21 inside of 9 minutes.
It's a strange call to start the drive. You expect up-tempo passing. Mike Shanahan's glory years in Denver and San Francisco as the offensive coordinator. Nobody threw it better than Mike Shanahan, but not tonight.
Pierre Garcon caught quickly by Tremaine Brock on the tackle. Brock out of Belhaven, Jackson, Mississippi. Went to Mississippi Gulf Coast College, a couple of years in Minnesota, and then Belhaven.
It's the first down the Redskins have made this half.
Garcon tackled in the open field by Bowman. This was the mode they got in against Philadelphia, down 24-0 last week. Came back, made a couple of 2-point conversions. Were driving for that score that would have put them within a 2-point conversion, but then Griffin on 3rd and 1 through that ill-advised pass at the end of the game. Here, Aldon Smith gets him for Smith's 2nd sack of the night.
You just can't hold the ball against these 49ers. You have to have a clock in your head. And when that clock goes off, throw the ball incomplete someplace. Aldon Smith is going to work on Trent Williams.
Trent Williams in the news, of course, this week after the game last week stated that profane and derogatory statements were made by an on-field official. The NFL did suspend umpire Roy Ellison for 1 game without pay. First time in some 3 decades an on-field official was punished in such a manner. The NFL Referees Association has filed a grievance regarding that. Aldon Smith nearly got Griffin near the headgear, and Brooks, along with DeMarcus Dobbs, sacked Griffin back at the 20-yard line, and the frustration is everywhere in this building now.
Watch the stunt. Now, Brooks is going to get the sack, but Justin Smith initiates the stunt, and they're using these stunts to keep Griffin in the pocket. Do not let him escape. If he tries to escape, Justin Smith and Ahmad Brooks will take care of business. But you have to stay in the pocket and make plays in this league as a passer. And tonight, Griffin hasn't been able to do it at all.
Redskins averaging just over a half a yard per snap this half. really bad for Washington. San Francisco on its way to 7-4 with this win. Right up the middle, a solid run that time for Anthony Dixon near the first down line. This is year 4 of Mike Shanahan's 5-year contract. He has coached in 6 Super Bowls. Of course, he's the head coach. Won a couple with Denver and John Elway. This Redskin mark has not been anything he had hoped. 6-10 and 5-11 the first 2 years. Last year sitting on 3-6 and talking about looking to the future, and then all of a sudden Washington beat Philadelphia, got on that 7-game roll, won the division on the final night of the season. But right now, staring at 3-8, and a lot of folks wondering what will happen. Will Shanahan be here for the final year of his contract? And then, John, what do you start doing here as you evaluate Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, and the future direction trying to build around Robert Griffin, who has not grown as a player here this year?
Well, here's what I know in the NFL. If you change the coach, you better be careful what you ask for, because if you change the coach, that means you're changing the system. And some coaches might come in here with a new system that really might benefit Kirk Cousins in the style of football he plays more than Robert Griffin. Clearly, Robert Griffin is comfortable in a certain style of scheme. I haven't seen him real comfortable in a conventional drop-back style of scheme yet. And that's a concern I have. If there is a concern, it's what is the future of Robert Griffin as a quarterback? Is it going to be the emergence of him as a drop-back passer, or is it going to continue to be pistol formations, play action, and bootlegs, which is a dangerous way to make a living, although they have had success doing it?
But it seems like the league is starting to catch up to that system of football.
Well, San Francisco caught up to it tonight, and I'm concerned about that. If you make a change at head coach, you're changing systems, and potentially the new coach might like a different quarterback. That's just the way life is in this league. It's the penthouse and the outhouse, and trust me, I got to the outhouse fast after a very short stay in the penthouse, Mike.
False start, offense, number 68, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Is this the outhouse here with me? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too.
Hurt your feelings.
No, but
you get kicked out of the league is what I'm saying.
No,
easily in this business.
And your point on the growth of Griffin, I think, is interesting, because you didn't have the offseason because it was all about getting back to football because of the knee injury. But the growth of the quarterback year 1 to year 2 is certainly stunted by that. So do you make the argument, Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan have coached good, successful football. Can you come back and grow the player at the position and expand the offense?
And you make a good point. When you hurt your knee, there's things I'm sure Kyle Shanahan wanted to put in his quarterback orientation to work on to help the developmental process. But it was all taken away because of the rehab of the knee. But sitting over here is Kirk Cousins. And I saw Kirk Cousins last year come in as a Redskin and beat the world champion Ravens. He also went on the road and beat the Cleveland Browns, throwing for over 300 yards. He's a young prospect that can clearly play as well. That's what happens when you draft 2 quarterbacks in the same draft. There's going to be some controversy at some point in time.
Hunter to the left. Kendall Hunter on that carry. Talked to Kirk Cousins before the game. He's doing his best to stay sharp, to stay ready, understanding what the situation is here. And he's hopeful for an opportunity. You see things happen around the league. Players like Matt McGloin, he gets the opportunity in Oakland. You wonder at some point, will I ever get an opportunity? When will it be my moment to go? And you still wait.
Believe me, Robert Griffin is a great young prospect. He's just getting started. And this year is going to test his leadership, certainly, and his mental toughness. And maybe that'll be good for him in the long run as well.
And he leaves the kick. Santana Moss with a fair catch back at the 15-yard line. 2:38 to go. Washington back trying to find a touchdown here tonight. Our friends, Mr. Van Pelt and Levy, sitting back in the studio for Sports Center. The GMC postgame emanates from here in FedEx with Stuart Scott. Our Super Bowl champions, Ray Lewis, Steve Young, Trent Dilfer. Top 10 NFL plays of the week. Kobe Bryant signing a deal with the Lakers. Whole mess of college basketball holiday tournaments. I did sneak a quick peek on the Watch ESPN app at the Syracuse game in Maui today, John. Thanks for letting me do that for 5 minutes.
Hope you enjoyed yourself.
One Spider 2 Y Banana I missed pregame, but other than that, I think we're okay. The guys will have everything covered on SportsCenter after the game. So another quick screen here to Pierre Garçon as the Redskins start this drive with 2.5 to go.
Well, that's 6 quick screens tonight.
Washington going to fall to 3 and 8. The Giants come in here on Sunday night. Griffin is buying time. And that pass is caught by Moss, but there's a flag down back by the quarterback. It's a catch and a gain of 23 if it stands. Well, we still have this flag back here thrown by John Parrott.
It's a great throw by Griffin, but you just...
Holding, offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
You just get the feeling sometimes, Mike, that there's no rhythm in the passing game, and just be a judge yourself. Nothing's on time. Everything is second reaction plays, and it's a great individual throw. The talent is incredible, but everything looks hard tonight, certainly for Robert Griffin. And Trent Williams has had a tough night too, Mike.
Beaten multiple times, picking up that hold there. Redskins just 12 yards in this half, and for the game 172 yards for Washington. Well, coming to DC with high expectations, initial success, stardom, and then performance and popularity plummets. Been applied multiple places around this town, that storyline over the past 6 months. And the 2nd and 15, quick screen to Moss will gain 3 and get us to the 2. 2-minute warning here at FedEx Field. And the 49ers on their way to 7 and 4. A Niner night, it's never easy to have that long trip back on a Monday night from the East Coast to the West Coast. But it feels a lot better. It's a lot easier when it's 27-6 in your favor heading back across the country.
Especially when you're breaking a 2-game losing streak. These 49ers deserve a lot of credit. Willis bolted for sure.
St. Louis at home coming up on Sunday for Jim Harbaugh's team. Followed by Seattle.
Ball start, offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, we mentioned the 49ers dominance of the Redskins today. Washington offensively 176 yards. Last home game where they didn't get a touchdown, were under 200 yards a decade ago. Shutout loss by the Cowboys. Head ball coach was in charge. And our NFL Live colleague, Tim Hasselbeck, was the quarterback. One of Tim's 5 NFL starts came here for Washington. Niner fans who have remained back beyond the San Francisco bench, imploring their defense to continue stopping these short passes. And a timeout taken by Washington with 1:50 to go. It's 193 yards now. 183 for the Redskins.
Oh, Mike, excuse me, half of these completions tonight have been quick screens. I mean, I've counted 7 of them. There's 2, there's 3. It's like hot potato. There's 4 of them. There's not a lot of progressions and reads and fundamentals going on here. It's just get the ball and throw it out on the edge. And the statistics say one thing, but the reality is half of the completions tonight for the Redskins have just been quick screens where you catch it and flip it out there. And there's been nothing else in the passing game for Washington.
But that looks like everything I see all day Saturday. That looks like college football.
Sure does.
The question is, will that be able to survive with the sideline-to-sideline speed of the NFL defenders? Griffin running, trying to get the first down. He slides down short of the first down. That will end Washington's night here. 100 seconds to go. Saturday at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Ohio State, our friend Urban Meyer has not lost a game. Still rolling along, looking for that second perfect regular season. As the Buckeyes take on Michigan in one of the sport's great rivalries. You'll see it at noon Eastern time on your ABC station Saturday. Michigan players who had high hopes of this season try to ruin the dreams of Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes. Good performance for San Francisco. And they will move to 7-4 here. And John, we're going to see them at the end of the year against Atlanta, the second to last game. Our last Monday night game of the year, and potentially the last game ever at Candlestick Park, closing after this season. Great new facility going up in Santa Clara. But the Rams, who are playing good, the terrific Seahawks, the Buccaneers, who are hot, then the Falcons, and the Cardinals to close. So it's not easy for Jim Harbaugh's team down the run of the end.
No, it isn't, but I did see Aldon Smith return to form tonight, and that's huge for the 49ers because he's unblockable when he's right. And if they can get Crabtree back next week, Mike, they're a different football team.
Showed that promo for Michigan, Ohio State, and that man played in that rivalry. All-American at Michigan. Third in the Heisman voting was Jim Harbaugh.
How intense is Harbaugh? I love going in there and talking to him. I get nervous.
You do know.
Yeah.
You know.
Just looks at you like, what do you want, Gruden?
I know. You two guys were comparing commercials. Can't watch football without seeing either one of you selling product. 27-6, and it will be a very difficult holiday week here for the Redskins as their struggles after a division championship continue. This team could very well end up in last place again, as they were for 4 years before that division title won last year. 7-4 are the 49ers. We'll have a recap of this game on the GMC postgame coming up on SportsCenter momentarily. Stuart Scott anchors that here. Steve Levy and Scott Van Pelt back in the studio for SportsCenter. From our entire crew to all of you, happy Thanksgiving. Hope the day of family, football, food, and friends is great for all of you. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, and our team, Mike Tirico. See you for the Saints and Seahawks next Monday night.